Hi, this is Mike.
And this is Fran.
And this is Mike and Fran Unrehearsed, episode 47. Hey, I'm getting up there, Mom. How about that? Hey, hope you guys had a great Labor Day. And we're back on the radio now at 216 The Net. That's real life internet radio on Wednesdays at noon. And got a lot to talk about today because the big Labor Day weekend was just over. I hope you guys had a great time over Labor Day. But before we get into that, we wanted to mention a couple things from our last show. We talked about my trip to Boise, Idaho to visit Alyssa, right, Mom? You remember that?
Absolutely.
Oh, hey, before I do that, I wanted to mention to you guys that if you go to mikeandfranradio.com, you can listen to all of our shows there. All 46 shows and soon 47 shows will be on there. It just goes to the YouTube channel. And then we have a brand new channel on TikTok. That's right, Mike and Fran Radio on TikTok. We've got a couple posts on there. We've got like 500, 600 views. Mom and I talk about the top 10 things that we learned from the Olympics because we miss our David Letterman on late night TV, right, Mom?
Yeah.
You remember David Letterman?
Of course.
Remember his mom? I want a show like him. How do I do that? I think, would you be on a show if I had it, Mom?
Well, why not?
Okay, good. All right, good. I'm real happy to hear that. But real quick, let's just remind folks that you can check out Cup of Joe Networking Group on Mondays. If you go to Facebook, go to Cup of Joe Networking Group on Mondays at 8 a.m., where we talk about all small business needs and wants and desires. If you guys with small businesses, come on in and join us. They're a great bunch of folks. Also, if you like to save money on everything you buy, check out the Super App, Life's Super App, that you can actually get rebates instantly on gas and food and everything that you buy out there in the stores. We have those meetings on Wednesdays. And then, of course, if you have a pet, you can get telehealth for pets for $12.99 a month. You can get 24/7 access to a veterinarian for your dog, cat, and I think you can do rabbits and birds now. Is that right, Mom? Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I always say we can't do alligators. I don't know what we can and can't.
Okay. Well, we'll have to check into that.
Not for sure.
I'm pretty sure they're working on birds and rabbits. So I'll confirm that with you guys. But anyway, so I wanted to mention that we did check out a pioneer cemetery in Idaho City. So this cemetery was established during the early part of the gold rush in 1860s, and there's estimated 3,000 people buried here at the Idaho City Pioneer Cemetery. And this is interesting. Fewer than 300 of these historic graves are identified. Of the identified graves, only 28 individuals died of natural causes.
Yeah, it was a rough and tough time then.
I bet it was. They have a separate area for Chinese. I guess they moved them now. They went back to China. And a separate...
said all the Chinese have been moved back to China.
Yeah.
But they had a separate for the Catholic, for the Masonic. They had a separate area for...
military.
The military. Well, the Chinese section is what surprised me.
Yeah. And Oddfellows, too.
Yeah.
Oddfellows. Now, that was pretty interesting. So I guess Oddfellows are one of the earliest and oldest fraternal societies, specifically, I guess. But the historical details of its foundation went strangely undocumented before the 18th century and created some uncertainty about its name and its origins. So it's kind of interesting, but what they say here is, so as far as records show, the order's purpose was to be an organization solely aimed towards charity and helping the less fortunate. One of its most prominent symbols is known as the Triple Links. It alludes to its motto, friendship, love, and truth. Pretty cool. So some of the earliest Oddfellows are Charlie Chaplin, P.T. Barnum, Charles Lindbergh, Wyatt Earp, and Al Pinkerton. Also, Winston Churchill and Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, it was associated, too, I think, with the Masonic Lodge. Yes. But what I thought was interesting in this cemetery, when you were there, My granddaughter's boyfriend was asking why there were so many cards on the graves.
Yeah, Ben was asking why there were playing cards
Engraved.
sort of engraved on top of the tombstone. And basically, I mean, it's because what were the occupations of those
They
people
were gamblers.
in the
Yeah.
the 1800s, early 1800s?
Yeah, gambling.
Yeah,
must be.
they were either
Card sharks or gamblers.
that was pretty common, I would imagine.
Yeah.
A wrangler, a rustler, a cattle owner,
Yeah.
maybe a shop owner, maybe a sheriff, maybe a politician, maybe a mayor, maybe just a blacksmith is what I'm thinking of, those kind of guys. But yeah, it was kind of interesting reading some of the stories. There was a couple of, there's actually one individual named Edward Holbrook who was, I guess, one of the early leaders of the Democratic Party, but he was supporting a Republican at the time, and another Democrat or another Republican was supporting a Democrat or
Is
something.
that the one that ended up in a duel?
Yeah. And,
Yeah, he was shot.
due to a political dispute, Holbrook was killed in a gunfight on Main Street in 1870 after the Republican candidate he supported for sheriff won the election.
Yeah.
Charles Douglas, a close associate, had supported the defeated Democratic candidate and was furious. He denounced Holbrook as a traitor. The two met in Idaho City and a gunfight ensued. 11 shots were fired and Holbrook was killed. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess those kind of things happen.
Yep. Now, the other thing that you forgot to mention was that recipe for the
I didn't forget to mention it, Mom.
food.
I'm still talking about the cemetery.
Oh.
So there's a couple other people here that died young. One girl was a dancer. She broke her neck falling off a wagon, and it was just kind of unusual things that happened. 2 little babies that died very young, and on the headstone it said, "Sleep on, sweet babe, and take thy rest. God calls thee home. He thought it best." I thought that was kind of cute. So that's what you see in some of these old cemeteries, and the old stones are very interesting. Anyway, we'll move on to what, Mom? Something to eat?
Well, you were impressed with that restaurant, and you got the menu.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about what you know about the Bosque.
Well, I think we mentioned last time that they were a group of people that in the late 1800s came to America, were recruited by Englishmen and Scotchmen to be sheep herders.
From Spain.
And they came from northern
Spain, right?
northern France and southern France and northern Spain.
Okay.
An area there known as the Bosque.
Uh-huh. And what else did you say? They recruited them to do what?
Shepherds. They took care of sheep.
And why is there such a large concentration of them here in Boise, Idaho?
They came over there, and they are the largest group outside of the original area where they are.
What was the original area?
Southern France and northern Spain.
Okay.
Is an area known as the Bosque area.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we were there, we went to the Bosque Market, which was established in, I guess, December of 2000, on the Bosque Block in downtown Boise, Idaho. So if you ever go to Boise, Idaho, go to the Bosque Block. You're going to love it. So what they do, they have these weekly events. So every Wednesday and Friday at noon, they prepare paella from start to finish right on their patio, so you can come and see them actually cook it. And it's like $9.99 for a plate of paella, seafood and meat paella with freshly baked bread. So you come out there, you enjoy a glass of wine, and they have this frozen white sangria, and it's pretty good. And you watch them as they prepare it, and it's pretty cool. And they actually give you the recipes online. So if you go to thebasquemarket.com, you'll see pictures of the paella, and it's this huge big pan that they cook on, enough for like 60 people or something. And it's just fantastic. So they have a few recipes in here. Chorizos in sidra, I guess, is one recipe they have on here. Grilled flank steak marinated in pincho seasoning. That looks really good. How about pears and wine sauce? Hey, Mom, I need a new way to prepare pears. Maybe I can try that.
I've got some recipes in there to go in my book on pears.
But this one has wine sauce.
Okay.
No? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mom doesn't drink wine. Anyway, They got a tomato salad recipe. They have roasted Brussels sprouts and espelette mustard.
What I thought was interesting.
I don't know if that's right. And then wait, there's a mixed paella. Is the last one on here, and that's their famous paella.
Yeah,
it's the last
paella,
one. So
yeah.
all of these recipes are on thebasquemarket.com. So check it out. Check it out. What were you saying?
Well, I'm not fond of it because I don't like all the stuff that's put in.
But you know what?
I like shrimp.
Okay.
And maybe I don't care for the clams.
But you gotta try it.
And then you've got chicken in there, and you've got...
You got sausage in there. You got all kind of things.
Too much for me. You say it's good.
You can't write it off before you taste it.
And it's not a tomato sauce. It ends up with paprika.
It has a little paprika in it. That's why it has that sort of red tint to it. But you can't write it off by looking at the ingredients. You just can't do that.
But it's like soupa de mer, the Italian dish?
It's not what you think it is.
Okay.
Let me just say that. It's a fantastic dish. And you got to at least give it a try.
I'd pick all the shrimp out.
You look at the ingredients and say, I don't like it, but you got to try it because you don't.
Right.
They just combine to form this sort of a thick rice dish with flavors and little chunks of seafood in there, and that's really all that you see. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Paella. So check it out. If you guys can find a paella place around here, let me know because I want to take Mom there. Okay. All right. Thank you. Here's some sad news recently, I guess, about an actor named Michael K. Williams. Guess he was found unresponsive in his penthouse apartment in Brooklyn on Monday afternoon. He was 54 years old. Now, this guy played an awesome character actor role in just about everything that I've seen him in. I mean, primarily he was known for his character on The Wire. And I have actually not seen The Wire. Have you seen it, Mon?
Never.
Okay. But we did watch Boardwalk Empire. Remember that? With Steve Buscemi. He was kind of the good guy, the good gangster, and Michael K. Williams was Chalky White, the bad gangster kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And Michael Shannon was in it, and a lot of people were in that series. It was pretty good. And he played, I think, some of the same kind of role in The Wire, so he'll be sorely missed. A lot of people have a lot of respect for that guy. He worked his way up from, not having a lot of things, and he made good. And one of the funny things that he said is, at the end, he said, this Hollywood thing that you see me in, I'm passing through, he said, because I believe this is where my passion, my purpose is supposed to be, is with helping others that are struggling with drug addiction and those kind of things. So that's what he really wanted to do. Michael Williams said that he had been working with a New Jersey charity to smooth the journey of former prison inmates seeking to re-enter society and was working on a documentary on the subject. And he was really looking forward to that. He did mention that he had a rough time growing up and said he struggled with drug addiction himself. And he had spoken frankly about that in interviews in recent years because he wanted to know that there is a way out, and he wanted to help people do that. So that was very, honorable thing to do, I think. So anyway, say goodbye to Mr. Michael K. Williams. Rest in peace, my friend. So I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. I mean, the weather around here was fantastic. So, Mom, tell us a little bit about where Labor Day came from.
Well, Labor Day always meant to me growing up a day off.
Yeah.
And I remember that school usually started in Oregon after Labor Day when I was young.
Oh, right.
And I think it did for many years here, but now school sometimes is earlier, before Labor Day when it starts.
I see.
It was created in 1894 by President Grover Cleveland, who signed it. And it was to celebrate workers and their achievements. And it originated one of America's labor history's most dismal chapters. In the 1800s, people worked an average hour, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And little kids worked ages of 5 and 6 in mills and factories and mines in unsafe working conditions.
Oh, my.
And there was a lot of turmoil as our country turned more to manufacturing from an agricultural labor. And there was lots of turmoil. But in 1882, they had the first Labor Day parade in Washington, D.C. And then finally, Grover Cleveland passed a law or an act making Labor Day a legal holiday in D.C. and territories. And then in 1894 signed it as a law. Now, it represents sort of, as I said, the end of summer and the start of back-to-school season.
Well, here, it basically is called the unofficial end of summer because it marks the end of the cultural summer season, it says. And then many take their 2-week vacations during the 2 weeks ending Labor Day weekend.
That's true.
Yeah, and I guess that is true.
Yeah.
And then many fall activities such as school and sports begin about this time,
Well, yeah,
Labor
now
Day.
in 1968, they fixed a date to be permanently on Mondays so we could have a 3-day weekend. Now, other holidays that were arranged that way so we could have a 3-day weekend were Martin Luther King Jr.'s, George Washington's birthday, which became President's Day,
That's right.
Memorial Day, and Columbus Day. Our other holidays, which were arranged so we could have 3 days.
That's right.
So that's Labor Day for this year.
So what did we do for Labor Day, Bob? Do you remember?
We went to Lisa's and you had a barbecue.
Oh, yeah, we had
And it
teriyaki salmon and teriyaki chicken thighs, and we can't get enough of that corn on the cob lately. I don't know
And
what
Lisa
it is.
made tremendous hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, she made some really nice hors
Yeah.
d'oeuvres. Yeah, like 3 different
With
kinds.
figs and
I like the one with the crab meat in it. There's the one
crabs
I
and
like.
figs.
That was-
Really good.
That was good. I
Yeah,
told her
yeah.
not to do anything, and she's
Well,
going to do
she
something.
loves to do stuff
But she
like
loves to
that.
do that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Right.
So I just want to mention a real easy way to make some tasty teriyaki flavored meat. I tend to do salmon and chicken, but what I wind up getting is Sweet Baby Ray's teriyaki marinade, and I put that on my chicken with some garlic, some chopped up garlic, or my salmon, and maybe a little bit of lemon in there overnight, and then I either grill it outside or I use the hot air cooker over here, and that comes out really good. Maybe like 10 minutes for like 3 or 4 pieces of meat. Perfect. And then you do a couple minutes with some maybe chopped onion on there, and it's really nice. And you'll have your meat. You can warm up at any time, and it's real tasty. But I just wanted to mention that a lot of times you go shopping and you see sweet corn, like 25 cents a piece or whatever. And sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's kind of too sweet. And sometimes it's like just regular corn that's kind of blah. But recently I got some corn from Walmart, and we sat down here and had half a ear a couple days ago. And you said, this is good corn. And I was already done with mine. And I said, yes, this is good corn. Every once in a while you just get a really good piece of corn. It doesn't necessarily have to be sweet corn, but I like to eat it right away too, because after a few days it might not be really good corn anymore. But it makes a difference. That's all I'm saying. I mean, wasn't that corn great, Mom?
I liked it.
I love it. Of course, can we eat corn every day? No, probably not.
No, I couldn't eat it every day.
Okay. But I do like it. I do
Yeah.
like it. It was fantastic. So after we ate, it was a fabulous meal. We settled down and started wrapping things up, and then you guys started watching this movie. What was that movie?
News of the World by Tom Hanks.
News
Tom
of the
Hanks
World
is in
with
it.
Tom Hanks. Now, I had seen the previews for it. I haven't heard,
I don't think it ever
how
went to
successful
the
it was.
theaters. I said HBO. Maybe
Oh.
it was made just for television.
All right, so give them an overview of what the movie was about. Let's
No,
do
I'm
that.
not going to ruin it for
No,
you.
Just tell them what it was about.
well-
it was set in the West, the 1800s.
Well, a
Tom
man
Hanks-
runs
come on.
into a young girl who was captured by the Indians after her family was killed.
That's right.
And she could speak nothing but the Indian language.
Now, she was raised in a German family, and she was kind of probably really young, so she didn't really know too much German.
No, she didn't.
But she spoke more of the Indian
She spoke
language.
completely the
And
native
what was
Indian
that? What was the
dialect.
name of that dialect? Do you remember that dialect?
I
she
don't
spoke?
remember. I don't
Okay,
remember.
okay,
All
okay,
I
okay.
know is that he had to try to deliver her to an aunt and uncle somewhere,
Yeah.
or take care of her herself, and she would run away. And anyway, it ended up good.
Yeah, it
And
did.
he was
It
a
did.
person who traveled the West.
Yeah.
For a dime, he would have people come in and listen to him read the news of the world, because so many of them did
Yeah.
not read, were illiterate, and there wasn't newspapers around or any news.
I thought that was a real interesting thing to do in those times, and I guess it could have been something that somebody really did. I mean, I
It
don't
was
know.
done. It was done.
So what do they call these people?
They're just readers.
Readers?
Yeah.
And it was fascinating that it's almost like a one-act play or something to me, because all these
They
people
gather
are listening,
in an
and they're getting
auditorium.
entertained and
Yeah.
they make comments and things. But all he's doing really is sort of reading the news from
Yeah.
around the world. But he's reading it in a way
Well, like
that
an
they
actor.
can sort of relate to, like
He's-
a monologue kind of a
He's
thing.
hamming it up.
Yeah, he's enhancing it for the
Yeah.
people listening so that they can understand the story and really
Yeah.
get into it.
Wow.
And it was really a neat thing that he did, I
Well,
thought.
it was a Tom Hanks role.
So he went back to the girl to see what was going on, and he saw her tied to a stake with a rope around her
Because
ankle.
she was running away all
Well,
the
they
time.
didn't know what to do. So they treated her
Yeah.
like a wild animal, kind of, pretty much. But
Mm-hmm.
so he came back there, and the scene where he came back to the girl, and the girl was backing up because he left her there in the dust, and then he finally told her that he did something wrong, and she belonged with him, and then I don't even know if she actually understood it, but she turned around, and then they wound up being together. And the last scene was the best of the whole film. So he went around doing his, readings of the news to the people, and he introduced the little girl there, and she motioned what to do for the people, like
And
to
she would
clap,
collect the
and she was
dimes.
part of the show.
Yes.
Part of the show.
With a big smile on her
Oh,
face.
she did
Yeah.
great. It was just
Yes.
so now they're like a traveling show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The both of them, and they
Yeah.
did great. So it was a really good film. Anyway, we didn't really plan on sitting there and watching the film, but we did, and it wasn't the most uplifting, but it was interesting, right?
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Okay. So if you guys seen any good movies lately, let us know, and we'll check them out and talk about them. Okay? All right. Sounds good. Thanks. So now let's get to what's going on. That's really, really exciting. The U.S. Open. Now, I hope you guys are out there watching, because it is the most fascinating U.S. Open that I've seen in a very long time.
Well, so many newcomers.
Oh, my God.
So many young people, and an awful
Yes.
lot from Canada.
Yes.
I turned it on today, and Michael came up and saw the end of Leila Fernandez, who just turned 19 yesterday.
Yep.
A young girl from Canada playing, what's the Ukrainian's name, Michael?
She was number 5, and her name was Alina Svitolina.
Yeah, from the Ukraine, a seasoned player.
Oh, yeah.
She was
Oh, yeah.
beaten by this young kid.
Oh, my God.
And she's a fantastic athlete. And
Her father's her coach.
interesting heritage. Her mother is Chinese and her father is...
Yeah. So her mother's Chinese and her dad is Filipino.
That's right.
And her dad is her coach.
He couldn't be there today.
Yeah. But the
But,
mom was there and the family was there. And the girl is just phenomenal. Isn't she the sweetest girl ever?
Very, very intent, good,
Very
young,
intent.
youthful, bright, everything.
What did her father tell her to do before she played? She just said all the right things.
Well,
to
he
do
still
your
has to
best,
coach her. She's young.
to do your best that you can, to get out there and give it your all. And I know you can do it. And don't doubt yourself. Just go out there and do what you know you can do.
And then
whatever he said, it just freed her mind. And they asked her about the next day. What do you think? She goes, I'm going to relax and just be happy about my win today.
She's young.
And when
She
it
was
comes,
19
my father
today.
will tell me what I need to do, and I'll play my very best tomorrow. How about that?
Yep. And the other day, we watched Novak Djokovic. Yesterday, he beat Jensen Brooksby, which is a young American who's just 20.
Yep.
And he is going to be a star of the future.
Well, he did, tell him at the net there. He said, "Hey, buddy, you got a future ahead of you, my friend, and you're doing well. And best of luck to you."
And if Novak Djokovic wins this Open, he will have created the Grand Slam, where we'll have won the French one, the Wimbledon, Australian, and the U.S., which is not done too often.
Now, let me tell you the last time that happened. Do you know how long ago that happened? They said 52 years.
For a man.
Yeah. Does
Because
that sound
Steffi
right?
Graf won
Does that
it.
sound right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Actually, Mom, only 5 players have achieved a Grand Slam, meaning that they won 4 major titles in a calendar year. They call it the holy grail of tennis.
Yeah.
It's improbably hard.
Yeah, and
improbably. That's a pretty good word.
It's been 2 men and
That's
3 women.
Word. And yeah, that's
Rod
right.
Laver, Donald Budge,
Yep.
O'Connelly, Court,
No,
Margaret
no.
Court, and Graf.
Rod was the last man, right? So
Ron Laver. Rod Laver.
Rod Laver.
Yes, I said that.
Okay. Don Budge.
Yes, I said
in
that.
1938. Maureen Connolly.
Yes.
In 1953.
Margaret Court.
Rod Laver in 62, and Margaret Court in 70, and Steffi Graf in 1988.
I don't need to have the dates of the people.
Yeah. So that's
I'm just saying that 2 men and 3 women won in all these years.
Yeah, so it's been like, how long? How long has it been? 52 years.
Yeah. Rod Laver and...
Well, he was the last one. Let's say that. He's 83. Now, this is what he said. So it's been more than half a century since a man completed tennis's Grand Slam, as they call it, and that man is ready for company because Novak Djokovic is going to win it. We're talking about men, Mom. That's what we're talking about.
I'm talking about, all right.
Since a man completed it, because
All
that's
right,
about
what do
to
you want me to
happen.
say?
We're not talking about anyone
All right,
else.
you go ahead and say the whole
but
thing.
Novak Djokovic.
All right.
So this is what he said. I don't own the club. Who said this? Rod Laver said this.
Yes.
He was 83. He says, I don't own the club. I've just enjoyed belonging to it. That's what he said. So that's pretty cool. And he said in a telephone interview last week from his home in Carlsbad, California, if someone comes along to win all 4, I'd be the first to congratulate him.
Of course.
So Novak Djokovic
Why not?
has won first 3 Grand Slams in 1 year, and needs only to win the U.S. Open, which began on Monday in New York, to join the club. And it has to be in a calendar year, so like from January to September. Otherwise, it doesn't count. So this is pretty cool. And we're going to watch that, and we're going to watch some of these other young players, too. So watch the U.S. Open, everyone. And then I'll be out there pretending I'm playing in the U.S. Open, playing doubles with my friends here at Lake Barrington Shores, because we're having all kind of fun with that.
I can put on there.
I love it. I just love it.
All right.
And one of these days, you can go out there and watch me play.
All right. Just go ahead and finish this.
What? Yeah, I also wanted to mention Carlos Alcaraz from Spain. He's another young 18-year-old that's really playing awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. A lot of awesome players, and a lot of them from Canada. Not anymore from the U.S., because I guess we just lost today. But anyway.
Michael and I, at times, got hung up on the attire they were wearing.
Oh, yeah.
Michael would say, oh, look, that doesn't match. That's green, and that's blue.
I'm just saying there's like cardinal rules that you're not supposed to wear more than like 3 or 5 colors, for God's sake.
No, that's not a cardinal rule.
It's
you can
terrible.
wear what you want.
It's terrible. I'm not saying it has to be all color coordinated and everything, but I mean, let's just say you have a red shirt on and you have blue shorts, your butt should not be red because it looks weird. It just looks weird.
Well, each player has their own personality, and sometimes we get a little bit snarky, and we'll call theirs the torso, and that one's a toddler. And but all of them are playing their best and are supremely good athletes.
They are.
But so many of them are tall now, 6'4", 6'6", 6'7".
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They're motivating me to play mixed doubles here at Lake Barrington Shores. So there you go. I'm getting a kick in the butt because of watching them on TV. You want to get out there and hit it with them. And I could do that now. So that's a lot of fun. So I guess that's it, Mom. I think we're out of time. See you guys next week.
Goodbye from Fran.
Goodbye. And remember, watch the U.S. Open because it's pretty damn exciting. All right. See you then. Bye-bye now.
All right.